Yo, Novatos, thanks again for tuning into yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast, yet again, San Jose, California. So I just wanted to make a video on just stuff that most Harley riders or new Harley riders are probably going to overlook, as far as in mods that could make a huge improvement over your riding. So these are not going to be about the branding or anything like that. I mean, yes, I have Amazon posted on the screen. And this is just stuff that I've been using myself on my own Evo. So anyways, links are going to be down in the description below. Of course, I do get a little bit of a kickback on these. So it's not a huge amount, so it doesn't matter. You can select anything on the links, or you could go on Get Lowered Cycles and get whatever you want. I really don't care. But anyways, getting on to the video, the huge improvement stuff that, like I said, most riders don't know about. Let's start off with the foot pegs, whatever's on the screen, of course. So you guys know foot pegs on Harleys, they're very narrow. They don't have a lot of support. And what people don't, typically realize, I mean, if you're riding with sneakers, maybe a little bit, with the boots, you will get a little bit of fatigue depending on how, far you're riding. There's a reason why the baggers have long floorboards, is because they're more comfortable. There's more support for your foot fatigue. It will improve if you switch over to something that's just a little bit wider, has a little bit more support. Now you can see these, I've had these on my bike over a year now, and like I said, they've improved the rideability, long range. All right, and they also look pretty good. All right. These right here, they do have a little bit of an adjustment. If you guys see my lowrider S, I have the Flo-Motorsport foot pegs. These, it's not a solid piece, so you will have to, of course, adjust these depending on the angle. And you could actually see the Allen head on the inside here. And like I said, you could adjust them, you could tilt them to your liking. As far as the Flo-Motorsport ones, basically they're set for your bike. So if you have a lowrider S, or you have a Fat Bob or whatever, you have to make sure you get that specific one. But this one, like I said, these floorboards have been solid. They've been great. You can see the little what do you call these, the teeth, or the little bolts here, and they grip your shoes fairly well. So surprised overall. These do have, sorry, there was a little bit of a feedback on my speakers and my headset that I kept on hearing. So anyways, getting back onto the foot peg itself, like I said, these are pretty solid. I've had them for over a year. They're comfortable. You can see the ratings, over 1,700 reviews. So, they're pretty good. All right. Yes, there's going to be a few 1 stars. I'm not sure what it is, but you can also see they have different colors. You have this pink, chrome, gold, and of course you have the ones I got, black. So as far as fading, I haven't seen much fading in my foot pegs. I keep my bikes outside. It's just overall pretty good quality. And like I said, they're going to add a little bit more when it comes to comfort, long range riding. So you guys could, check these out. These are not that huge. You can see the measurements right here. You could calculate that on Google or whatever, 57 by 88. Fairly small, not a lot. So let's look at another setup here. You guys can also see similar style, but these are just a bit more wider, a bit, just a bit more, bigger than the other foot peg. So this really depends on how you want it to look, and if you want that extra support at your feet. So same thing here. You also have an adjustable angle of the foot pegs. Like I said, if you get this through another manufacturer that are typically $150 to $200, then you'll probably see that it's a solid piece. These are going to be a 2-piece setup. So like I said, this really depends on you. You could also see the measurements are a little bit wider, and then there's just a little bit longer on these ones. So and another little key detail here as well is you can see that these are not screws. That's what I've noticed with these ones over here. Over time, if you don't put thread locker in these will come out. So I've already lost a few of these. I think like maybe 3 of these little bolts, these screws, it says right here, screw tooths. Some of these have already fallen out on my bike. Not a big deal, you know, but these are, you know, pretty much built into the system, or it looks like they're probably screwed in there as well. So overall, like I said, the wider the foot peg, the more comfort you're going to have. We're going to move on over to, of course, some hand controls. These are hand guards. So this really depends on yourself. If you do a lot of highway riding, this will protect your hands from bugs, you know, debris, rocks, stuff like that. So, you know, this really depends. If you're doing a lot of highway riding, these are going to come in clutch. They will protect your hands, and it's also going to help you ride in cold temps, because you guys already know, you know, temperature and riding temperature are two different things, because the wind's always hitting you, of course. You know, even like myself with the hand guards, once I'm done riding, my hands feel like they're ice cold, and that's with the hand guard. So you could always, of course, use thicker gloves, or you can use hand guards to kind of get that wind off of your hands. All right, so these are coffin style hand guards. All right, they're made out of metal. You guys can see, you know, the price on these, $30. They're not that bad. With my setup, my build, I just have to mention this. I did have a few bad clutch side. I think what happened when I ordered mine, it happened 3 times. When I ordered my hand guards, I was getting 2 right side hand guards. So these ones right over here, you can see the difference. So this is for the clutch. Or wait a minute, this is what? This is left. The left on the cable clutch. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's weird. Right on the brake side. Okay, that's bizarre the way they labeled this. So you can see the top one. This is for your clutch side, because of course, what's it been called? What is that? That perch, the clutch perch. I think that's what they call the hand control. The clutch perch is inside of there. So what happened when they shipped these hand guards to me 2 times? I would get 3 brake sides, because you could see that the eyelet and the bracket on the right side, on your brake side, is shorter. That's what happened. After the 3rd time, I got the proper hand guards. Luckily, with Amazon, you get free returns. So you could always ship these back. So just wanted to mention that these, like I said, these will make a huge difference if you're riding a lot of highway, and then if you're riding cold temps. If you ride weather and 50 below weather, these are going to make a difference in your riding and your comfort. You also have these other ones from Kemimoto. These are the ones that are for your lowrider S, or if you have your turn signals. If you have the turn signals on the on your handlebars. So this, like I said, this depends. These are typically what you have on the Milwaukees. But like I mentioned, if you relocate your turn signals, or if you have a touring model, or if you have a lowrider ST, those turn signals are in a different position. So you have both of the options. You just got to make sure you get the proper one, because these will look bad if you don't have the turn signals there. Yeah, they're not gonna look as good. All right. So I also wanted to mention the Memphis shades. It looks like I don't have the Memphis shades on here. But you could find the Memphis shades right here as well. So we'll just click on this one real quick. So you can find Memphis shades on Amazon. A little detail that I mentioned in my other videos, you can actually get these used. So I've been able to find these from Amazon. You just got to look for these links, and then they'll give you an option to buy them used. So I've bought my Memphis shades used, because I end up painting them anyways. So let's move on to the next thing that will have a big impact, of course, is the risers. So the placement of the handlebars is, it depends. You could be a little bit more comfortable. There's a chance that your bars are probably too tall or too low. It just really depends. I think from factory, the handlebars, depending on the bike, of course, they're pretty good. I just really like the way the bike feels with higher bars. So this would, of course, make you lean back a little bit more. So instead of riding over the fuel tank, you're riding a little bit more upright. It really depends on yourself. Okay, so just want to make a few notes here. Of course, This is what I have on my bike. They look pretty decent. You could also see the top clamp. It's got that look of a, what was it? Joker Machines, I think. Joker Machines risers. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is a very similar looking riser piece. And what I like about these, I'm like I said, I've already had these for a little bit over a year. I've been pretty happy with these. These also have an adapter at the bottom. You can see right here at the bottom, you know, it's just an additional inch. So what I like about these actually fit on the inside of the riser, so they don't, you know, they're not loose or anything. They lock into place, which is really neat. You can see right here towards the bottom. I can't use my cursor because the image disappears, but you can see at the larger window you have a little tapered piece on the top of that extender, or the extension piece. So very neat. You could take these from 10 to 11. What's also neat about these is if you have, you know, if you have regular cables and wires, once you go with, you know, something like 7 or 6 inches, or if you know, depending on which setup you get, you could add an extra inch onto your risers. If your cables reach, then you could try adding that little block, that little extender at the bottom, you know, extending them from, let's say you buy a 6-inch piece, you could extend them to 7 inches, and you're not, you know, buying extenders or anything like that. The extenders, depending on where you get them from, they could be 40 to 60 bucks. So that's what I like about this little kit as well. Another thing that I like about this kit is you can see these are internally feed wires, so you could actually hide the wires from your handlebars in your risers, and it just cleans up the look of the bike. So that's what I like about these as well. You can see the little opening here. All of this is aluminum, I believe. You know, one piece, very durable, high quality. Like I mentioned, I've had mine for over a year. And you also have a little piece right here, and if you want to, you know, add a top clamp or relocate your speedo to your handlebars. You know, if you it's just depending if you have it on your dash or if you have it somewhere else, you could relocate your speedo with, you know, My Machinist or whatever you want to use. This will attach to this little block right here. So overall, you know, for the price, 130 bucks. If you buy these from Joker Machine, I can't remember what is it? I can't remember. You know, if you're buying these through, of course, a name brand manufacturer, you're paying somewhere between $400 to $600. So you guys have to, you know, you guys can decide. All right, I'm not going to tell you guys where to get it, but if you're on a budget, these are pretty solid. So let's go ahead and look at the other options. Looking at the time here, I'm running out of time. So of course, these are the 1 1/8 inch handlebars. You can see it right there, 1 1/8 inch. All right. So depending on what your handlebar setup is, if you have tapered bars, this is what you would get. Okay. If you're using your stock Lowrider S bars, then you will go with the 1 inch top clamp. Okay. So we got to make sure you get the right one. Oh, here's a top view of the top clamp. You can see it looks really it looks great. Like I said, I like the overall look, and it looks just like the the Joker. I'm gonna keep on calling it Joker Machines, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So you can see, of course, and then there's a little kit of the extender. These are 7-inch risers. So these are 6-inch. Here we go. These are 7-inch, and then of course you can add the 1 inch. Do these not have it? Yeah, I think that it does have it. For some reason, it doesn't have the image. Here it is. So you have the 7-inch, and I guess that's the 8. That would turn it into a 8-inch riser. So yeah, 7-inch to 8-inch. Like I said, if you have wires and you don't want to mess with that, you could get this kit. You're playing it safe. You could stay within your cable length, and once you install them and then you do the full tilt on your bars and you see you have enough wire to extend them, you could just take them off real quick and then just put in that little extender. And then once again, these also have a hollow riser, so you could internally feed your cables and clean up your handlebars. So here's another thing that I have to mention. Of course, these are set up for your 1-inch stock Harley-Davidson handlebars. So if you have, you really have to check your handlebar setup. For the most part, most Softails and most Harleys, they're 1-inch handlebars. The only one that's really different is the Fat Bob. You have to make sure you get the Fat Bob, and I think the Fat Bob is over 1 inch 1/8. They're really fat at the clamping area, and then of course it tapers down to your stock 1-inch hand controls on your Harley-Davidson. So this one right here, if you're keeping your Lowrider S handlebars stock, you're not swapping out your handlebars. It's your handlebar, the actual handlebar. You're not swapping it. You're not doing a taper down. You would have to get the 1-inch clamping area. All right. Once again, these ones over here, you have 1 inch 1/8. That's if you're going with a tapered look, tapered bar. These are also 1 inch 1/8, but you can see this is 7 to 8, and then this is 10 to 11. Same thing on this one. If you want the 10-inch risers and you've already extended your controls, or somebody else already extended the controls, you bought it used, then you will go with, of course, this one, and you can see the overall look. These also don't have the bushing, so if you want to look at that, you're probably looking at this right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but these are the solid bullet handlebar riser bushings. You could get this on your bike, and that would just stiffen up your risers. And I believe I have this on my Kraus. I have this on my Kraus, on my Lowrider S. So you could get this, of course, along with the risers. You could try it out, see if you like it with the Harley-Davidson stock, riser bushings. But I think you're pretty much better off getting this as well and just upgrading the whole system. So anyways, once again, 10-inch to 11-inch. These are the 1-inch option, right? So just make sure you get the proper riser. 1 inch 1/8 is completely different from the 1-inch. So let's go ahead and look at another riser option. This video is getting pretty long. This is another one that this one was just released. I think these look pretty cool. I'm not sure about that, name branding on the top clamp, but for some reason they're advertising this one. So I'm wondering, where can you get this top clamp? And this, of course, would fit your Street Bob and your Lowrider ST. So overall, it looks pretty neat. It looks pretty solid to the piece. You can see that it's a pullback design, so it's pretty neat. The only drawback, of course, of these ones is there is no internal feeding of the wires. Your wires are going to be visible, kind of like on my Kraus handlebar setup on my bike. They're visible. Not that bad, but you have, of course, different options. You have a high gloss black, and you have a matte black, finish, and then of course you have 6-inch, 8-inch, and then 10-inch. These don't have extenders or anything like that, but you know what? They look pretty cool. You could always go with Trash and Supply. I've already mentioned them, a lot in my videos. They have a really cool setup. They look similar to this, but like I said, it's up to you guys. You guys can see the clamping area right here. It's 1 inch, so you have to make sure you get the proper size if you're doing like tapered bars. So anyways, moving on to the next item here. Let me look for it. All right, so here we have the fork shims. Like I mentioned in my video, you probably don't need this, but the bike looks pretty clean when you have these fork shims in there. It just keeps the dust and all the debris stuff out. So you really don't need this. I believe you don't need this, but $25, it looks pretty good. So these are 3D printed. You can see the images. Just raising the front end by, I believe, a 1/4 inch. I think it's a 1/4 inch, depending on where you want to put it at. By raising the front end, you buy yourself a little bit more lean angle. And this is probably one of the mods that I wish I had done when I first bought the bike, because just the way it feels, the way you ride, your handlebars feel a little bit taller. You're tilting the bike, differently. Of course, you're putting a little bit of an angle, a little bit of a upward angle on the front end. It's not a huge amount, but it's something that you clearly notice when you're riding the bike, when you raise your front end by about a 1/4 inch. It might be a little bit over that, but it's pretty close. I think I really like the way the bike feels. But overall, this is one of the, like I said, this is one of the mods I wish I had done earlier. Now that I have it on my bike now, and I really like the way it feels. So this is, of course, Harry Customs. This guy makes a lot of different parts for Harleys. You could buy a dash cover, you could buy a PV, power vision casing, and all kinds of stuff. You guys can check out his website. I'll leave a link in the description. So let's go ahead and move on over to grips. This is another one of those things that changes the feel of the bike. I don't really want to get into the details of this too much, but I've tried a number of different grips. The ones that I have currently are the Alumicores, and then I have the Biltwell grips as well. Just you can see the thickness of the grips. So the thicker the grip, the better the vibration is going to be. So you can see these grips, they're clearly a little bit thicker. So it really depends. You can see the Kuryaki, and these are called ISO grips. And the reason why they call them that is it helps with the vibration. So for the most part, Milwaukee 8s have, they have amazing counterbalancers. So you probably don't need, a thicker grip. But you know what? If you're getting a tingling feeling in your hands, you could probably try getting, of course, a thicker rubberized grip. Let's go on to another thing here. Of course, this is from Harley-Davidson. Switching your foot controls from mid to forwards. I got a message, I say maybe 2 years ago on Instagram. A fellow was having trouble with his hips. He was younger than me too as well. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I've never had a hip issue when I'm riding my bikes. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he had an accident, or I don't know the full story. He tried changing his seat. I just mentioned, hey, maybe try changing your foot controls. I can't remember if you already have the forward controls, but switching your foot controls can also, of course, extend your comfort or improve your comfort when you're riding your bike, instead of feeling cramped up. If you're, someone that's 6 foot plus and you have mid controls on your bike, it's not going to feel the same. I like the mid controls. I'm 5'7". The bike feels great. I have good control of the bike, but maybe you just want a little bit more comfort. You could go with, of course, forward controls, or you could also add freeway pegs. And what that is, of course, it's not like this. You just have, it's just a solid piece that bolts into this spot. I'll look, if I find it, I'll put it in the link. But it's a solid, piece, and it's just, you bolt it on here, and then this is just a placement for you to rest your legs. That way, when you're laying down, a lot of miles, you could, of course, just be a little bit more comfortable. So, like I said, it's just, they're called highway pegs. You also have, if you have a crash bar or an engine guard, you could also attach freeway pegs to your crash bar, and they're just basically just a piece like this, solid piece. There's no foot controls. It's cheaper than the $574, but like I said, you could improve the riding on your bike. And of course, we have one more item, and then that's pretty much the end of the video. All right, so we have the one finger for your Harley-Davidson. I have the Mototech Elite, and I also have the one finger clutch lever on my Evo. So as far as the manufacturer, they're pretty much the same. Honestly, you can see that these newer ones, they have a neutral safety switch on the clutch side. My Mototechs, they're like 3 years old, so they don't have that. It's just something that you have to keep in mind. If you accidentally shut off the bike, or if you accidentally stall the bike and you don't have this neutral safety switch, you're not going to be able to turn the bike on. You'll have to shift it into neutral and then turn the bike on. If you have the neutral safety switch, which is what this is right here on the image, it just lets the ECU know that you're holding the clutch. That's the only difference. Well, that's what that is. It's just there's just a little neutral safety sensor on the hand controls, and that's what lets the bike know, or the computer know, that you're that you're holding the clutch. So you can see it right here. This one, you can see that it doesn't have the neutral safety switch on the gauge, on the lever. Sorry guys. You can see that if you hold that in, the neutral indicator on your Milwaukee Softail will not turn on. So, you know, just looking at this, of course, you can see that this has the adapter for your mirror. So it's just another thing to kind of keep in mind when you're buying these. It really depends on who you get it from, but these ones look like they have the mirror adapter. Like I said, this is just something on the old ones with the Mototech Elites. You have to make sure you get the adapter. Some of these have the option for the mirror. So some of these come without the mirror, and some of these they don't have the neutral safety switch on the lever. So just keep that in mind. You can also see there used to be a 4-finger option, but they don't make them anymore. My Mototech Elites, they're actually a 3-finger setup, but they don't offer that those options anymore. So and then of course the Mototech Elite, you have a few different colors. You can mix and match the colors. You can change the actual lever. You can change the housing of the lever, different colors. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you want more customizability, you could go with the Mototech Elites, and you can see it right here, 30% easier pull from the OEM clutch that you have on your bike, on your Milwaukee 8. So if you ride a lot of city, kind of like myself, if you ride a lot of city, then this will, you know, make an improvement on the rideability, because you're always going to be stopping at stoplights. You have to pull the clutch in. If you're up on a hill and stuff like that, and you're trying to balance the friction zone, stuff like that, of course, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time pulling that clutch. It's just, yeah, something that I've noticed myself working on the computer, editing videos, you know, just doing everyday things with my hands. I've been noticing I've been getting some tendonitis on my left hand, on my clutch side hand, and having the easier pull, it just makes an improvement just overall. All right, so long video, sorry guys, but just getting into the details. Of course, there's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at these mods. Fitment, what's going to work with your bike, what's going to work with you. Like I said, most of these will improve your riding, and you'll just have a little bit more, you know, I think a better time, you know, riding your bike when it's just, there's like these little mini improvements that you could do to your bike. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the full video. If this video has helped you, please leave a like on the video. I'm going to keep on bugging you guys for likes. So just leave a like on the video. You guys stay out there, stay safe. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.